Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible rules that shape the apps you use every single day? It's not just about ones and zeros, not at all. There's this whole ethical framework, a kind of code of conduct, that really decides whether the software on your phone is there to help you or maybe even harm you. So that gets us to the big question.
So yeah, what is that hidden code behind your favorite apps? And I'm not talking about the programming language, Python or Java. I'm talking about the principles, the philosophies, and the tough ethical calls that developers have to make long before that app ever gets a chance to land on your phone.
Okay, we've all been there. Your app freezes up, a website totally crashes, or some feature just refuses to work. It's super frustrating, right? But what if I told you that those glitches are often just the tip of the iceberg, symptoms of a much deeper problem? It's not always just about a few bugs in the code.
And this brings us to this big idea of software quality. See, it isn't just about a slick interface or how fast it loads. Genuinely high-quality software is built on a solid foundation of security and reliability. But when that quality breaks down, it's so much more than an inconvenience. It can be a massive failure in safety, a total breach of trust, basically a breakdown of the ethical contract between the person who made it and you, the user.
So, the big question is, how do we stop these failures from happening in the first place? Well, it all starts with the blueprint. The way software is actually built, the methodology behind it, has a huge impact on the final product. So let's take a look at the two big philosophies here.
So on one hand, you've got the waterfall method. It's very rigid, very linear, kind of like building a house. You have to finish the foundation completely before you can even think about putting up the walls. And on the other hand, there's Agile, which is a lot more like cooking a meal. You taste it, you add a little salt, you adjust as you go. So what's the ethical difference? Well, a rigid waterfall plan might just steamroll right over a user privacy concern that pops up late in the game. But Agile, at least in theory, lets a team pivot and fix that problem right away. The blueprint itself actually has moral weight.
Diving a little deeper into that waterfall model, you can see how everything is meticulously planned right from the start. This approach is often tied to a philosophy of process maturity, something called the Capability Maturity Model Integration, or CMII. The whole point is to get predictable, repeatable results. It's structured for sure, but that rigidity can be a real problem. I mean, what happens if you discover a huge ethical issue halfway through? There's just very little room to adapt.
Agile, on the other hand, works in these really fast, repeating cycles. You plan one small feature, you build it, you test it, and then you review it. This constant loop of feedback and adaptation means the product is always evolving. So instead of one big bang release at the very end, the software can improve continuously and hopefully become more ethical and more focused on the user with every single cycle. But here's the thing, whether you're meticulously building that house or creatively cooking that meal, you need more than just a blueprint. You need a moral compass. This is the code beyond the code, the professional ethics that should be guiding every single decision a developer makes.
And this quote just brilliantly lays out that core responsibility. It comes from the Joint Code of Ethics for Software Engineers. And it's not just about making something that works, it's about making absolutely sure it does no harm, and that its ultimate effect is for the public good. I mean, that is a powerful mandate.
So who are the guardians of this code? Well, two of the main players are the ACM and the IEEE. These are global organizations that set the professional standards and provide these ethical codes to guide developers. At the end of the day, they're trying to build a foundation of trust, making sure that technology ultimately serves humanity, not just the bottom line.
Okay, so we've got these guiding principles, this moral compass. But how does that stuff actually show up in the software that we use? How can you and I, as users, actually know if an application is built on a foundation of trust?
Well, trustworthy tech is really built on these core pillars. It means your data is kept private and secure. It means the company is being transparent and acting with integrity. And it's also about fairness, which includes things like interoperability. That's just a fancy way of saying different systems should be able to work together so you're not locked into one company's ecosystem forever.
Let's just focus on one of those pillars for a second, because it's a huge one: transparency. In the world of software development, this just means making decisions visible. It's about creating an open and honest relationship, so you actually know what's happening with your data and why the app works the way it does.
But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. Have you ever been faced with one of those cookie banners? You know, the ones with a dizzying, endless list of toggles and third-party vendors? I mean, technically, that's transparency,
but it feels like it's designed to be so overwhelming that you just give up and click Accept All. It meets the letter of the law, but does it really meet the spirit of honest communication? Probably not.
And when these pillars of trust start to crumble, the consequences get very real, very fast. I mean, think about a software defect in a self-driving car that causes an accident, or a banking app glitch that wipes out somebody's life savings. This is where we get into the legal world of product liability. There can be serious legal and ethical fallout, and it's a pretty stark reminder that code isn't just some abstract thing. It has a real-world, sometimes devastating impact.
And that impact, it goes far, far beyond our individual devices. Every single choice made during development has a ripple effect, and it ends up shaping our society and even our planet in ways we're really only just beginning to understand.
For example, think about environmental sustainability. Every email we send, every video we stream, every little bit of data stored in the cloud, all of it consumes energy. A truly ethical approach means developers are actively working to reduce that carbon footprint, to make code more efficient and less demanding on our planet's resources.
So the crucial point here is this: ethical development demands a wide-angle view. Just think about the algorithms on platforms like Instagram or Facebook. They are not neutral. They are coded with a goal to maximize engagement. And that can unintentionally amplify misinformation or create serious mental health pressures. Every single line of code can either strengthen or weaken the very fabric of our society.
Which, of course, brings us to the final and most crucial question. Because this isn't just on the developers. We're the ones using this technology every day. We download the apps, we agree to the terms, we create the data. So, what is our role in all of this? What can we do to demand better, safer, and more ethical code? Now that's something to think about.